that's also one that I had kind of written a little bit proposal for. It was it was I forget if it wasn't Vegas. There was a city that there was like a zombie outbreak, and it got uh, sort of siloed off, like Escape from New York style, and they had to sneak in, and it wasn't a heist. They had to steal a person, I think, sort of like Escape from New York. But it was like a female getaway driver who was hired to like do like the ultimate zombie drive into the city. That was another one.
I know I love zombies, and it's because I'm terrified of other people, especially when they all get together. They get some crazy ideas. Oh, watch out! Why do you love zombies?
It's I whenever I answer that question, I sort of try to come up with something smart, and I don't think there's a smart answer. I think it's because, and it's funny. I talked about this recently on an interview, not that exactly, but about like why I love writing about end of the world stuff. And I was just finally sort of like really honest about it. And I was like, because like when I was a kid, it seemed like a really cool playground, like to be able to kind of do whatever you want. And like there were kind of no rules. And I wasn't giving any thought to sort of, the Romero movies particularly are sort of, there's a lot of social commentary and stuff. But I remember seeing those and just being like, oh, it looks really fun to have a whole mall to myself and kind of be able to do whatever I want, and run around and be with like my three best friends, and we can drive the cars that they have. The cars on the ground floor. You could get in there and drive those and run over a bunch of zombies, and then some bikers come. You got to run up the stairs and run up the escalator, and then hide amongst the what do you dress up? The sort of the not puppets, but the sort of dummies that they dress up in the clothes, and you go to the fish. Yes, and you go to the fishing store and you get your fishing line, and you use it to make a gadget and stop some. Like it all just looked very fun. That was like watching, it looked like a fun adventure, and so that's sort of what drew me to, and also just the visual of like end of the world stuff is so striking. I think it's a large part of still why people like it. Just sort of. New York covered in vines and Statue of Liberty sticking out of the sand is like just a striking, cool, scary image. And so I like the zombies. I like zombies because they felt like this sort of like there's like an endless supply of almost like lemmings you can sort of just kind of do weird stuff with. When I did that, it's called Can You Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, was the I forget what we called it, Pick Your Own Path book, or when I did one for Adventure Time, it was called Which Way Dude. That was like their lingo for it. But the fun of it was just I remember sitting around and thinking of like what are different ways that what are different cool like zombie scenarios. I came up with like 100 of them or something, and that's how the different paths all branched. So I just liked these sort of like endless lemming kind of these things are going to come at you, and you got to chop them and blow them up and all this, and it sort of removes any for me. Unlike a lot of other fiction, or other fiction handles it differently, but it always removed sort of like the moral dilemma of it. It's just like it was on. It's like I feel like a kid watching like a Schwarzenegger movie where he's just like just destroying 80 awful bad guys, and you don't have to think about it. And so I felt like zombies are sort of like that, where it's they're gonna come and bite you, turn you into one. So you gotta throw a firecracker in there, and like that to me is sort of part of just the fun of it. Yeah.
You don't have to feel bad about it. They're already dead. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. Like you don't have to feel bad about it. Yeah, exactly. They're already dead. Like you're not killing them. Unlike there's no gray area. Yeah.
We're talking briefly about video games. That's something that always, for me, underrides, like The Last of Us 1 and 2, where there's these big moral questions about should I commit this murder or not? But we've just played a video game level during which you've had to kill 30 people to get to this actual pivotal cutscene where you have to decide, and it kind of undercuts the drama. On the other hand, I don't want to play the level without villains, so
I love video games. I play a lot of video games. I never. I think I always, like, you know, when I'm on like video game forums and websites and stuff, there's always people talking about favorite stories, and sort of, I saw like a Reddit thread recently about like what video game made you cry. And I've never been able, I don't think, 'cause I can think of maybe one example in Majora's Mask, where I ever felt like I've never been able to separate like the like. I just spent 6 hours, like, you know, messed up, so kept running into the wrong table. I kept running, my character kept getting hung up on a table. I'm supposed to be running to do this, you know, like that. It's I'm the one controlling this and making them run around in circles sometimes and bop into trees. And also that, yeah, like those sort of kind of big dramatic moments, something like The Last of Us. Yeah, you know, you're snapping like 20 dudes necks just to get there. And then, yeah, then it's like, then they have like a big dramatic cutscene. I find video game stories hard to get sucked into, because I love video games, but I really play them for the challenge and the sometimes the social aspect when it's not like it's something online, or I've never really been able to, and I'm jealous of people who are able to get really pulled into the story or like sort of the decision making type thing about it, because yeah, it's like I know that I'm in control and I'm probably lousy at the game. I just watched this guy, you know, some a racing game, like drive off a cliff 35 times. They couldn't get it right.
Well, it's rare, but Horizon Zero Dawn and Red Dead Redemption 2 both come to mind. Both of those are games that brought me to tears. Red Dead Redemption 2, a couple of times, replaying it even. I know what's going to happen, and still, it
Really? Those are, I mean, I love both of those. I didn't play the second Zero Dawn. I played Zero Dawn. I played the expansion that they had. BioShock is maybe one where I got close. That was like that story wise. And like, yeah, the Red Dead was like, story wise was, you know, that's a really good example too of one where like there's like these moral dilemmas, but like when it's not, when you're not doing that part of the game, it's like you're just mowing down, like, or you're riding along and just, you know, hijacking stagecoaches left and right. And I mean, those are fantastic games.